In the inaugural address, Sir Jones stated that the bounds of its investigation would be geographical limits of Asia, and that within these limits, its inquiry would be extended to whatever is performed by man or produced by nature. However, he did not expressly refer to the foundation of a museum as part of the activities of the society. But curiosity sent in from time to time by members began to accumulate, and in 1796, the idea was started that a suitable house should be erected for their reception and preservation. Then, on 2nd February 1814, based on the suggestion of Dr. Nathaniel Woolwich, a Danish botanist, a museum was established within the premises of Asiatic Society of Bengal, and Dr. Wallis became the first curator of that museum. The scope of the museum was defined in the widest possible terms as an institution for the reception of all articles that might be sent to illustrate Oriental manners and history, or to elucidate the peculiarities of art or nature in the East. So here is the Indian Museum. The photograph you can see. This building was came into here in 1875. So this is Indian Museum building. So due to this scope, Indian Museum began to enrich its collection, including textiles and dresses derived primarily from the collection like the Asiatic Society, military and political expeditions, and also by the private donors. Now, the today textiles collections of Indian Museum includes a large number of, not limited to the varieties of dresses, turban, bags, sample of textiles, textile designs and artifacts such as loom, spindle, needle, etc. associated with weaving, practiced by different indigenous communities of Northeast India. The majority of the collections were made from Naga Hills, Lusai Hills, Mikir Hills, Hill Tipera, and the valley region of Assam, as well as from other neighboring regions, namely Chittagong Hill Tracts, and also Burma. The number of textile objects of the indigenous communities of Northeast India under the reserve collection of Indian Museum is about 500, more than 500 probably, excluding the model of loom, spindle, baskets, etc. for keeping cotton, etc. So now I am coming to the textile collections from Kachari, Khamti, Garo, Khashi, Miri, and Mikir. These are the communities. In the mid-19th century, a large number of textiles, along with few varieties of textiles, were accessioned from the communities like Kachari, Khamti, Garo, Khashi, Miri. The collections are mainly clothes and blankets, etc. However, the name of the collector or donor is not available. Whatever came in the mid-19th century, so whatever we are getting the record, there is the name of the donor is not recorded. A separate set of collection from Naga and Kuki communities were also made during this period. In this case also, the name of the donor is not traceable. So I am showing you some of the example of the clothes. This is from Kachari, that is collected during 1850 from Kachar, Assam. And this is a vest cloth from Angami Naga, Naga Hills, Assam. It is also from around came here in 1850. This is called Keshuni, that is the loincloth of Lota Naga. And this is also collected during 1850s. This is a female race of Khashi community, Khashi and Jaintia Hills, Assam. And collection is also around 1850. It is a belt, west belt from Kachari community and collected from Kachar, Assam in 1850s around. This is very beautiful Muna bag called Khamti Muna bag from Khamti community from Assam. This is from a Mickey sleeveless coat. This is also from 1850s. Then I am coming again to the textile collections from Lusai Hills. A large number of objects, including textiles and dresses, were collected from Lusai Hills and Chittagong Hill tracts during the Lusai expedition of 1871 to 72. This expedition was primarily a punitive incursion by the British Army. The objectives of the expedition were to rescue a subject who had been captured by the Lusais during their raids in Assam. The said expedition was intended to convince the hill tribes of the region to remain peaceful. For the British, the expedition was a success and the prisoners were freed, as well as the hill tribes agreed to negotiate peace terms. So this is one from Garo Hills called the Riking and collected during 1870. This is also west belt of Naga, very peculiar, and this is also collected during 1870. Now I'm coming to the textile collections from Darklands. During 1863, Lieutenant Colonel H. Godwin Austin, a former officer from Trigonometrical Survey of India, was posted in the Himalayas as part of the political mission headed by the Eden to Bhutan. Austin surveyed the Garo, Khashi, and other hills, Naga hills, and joined an expedition into the Naga hills in 1870, from where he collected a very few textile objects, which is under the possession of Indian Museum. The textile collections from the Naga and Kuki communities. In 1867, Chief Commissioner of Assam has collected textiles from the Naga community and a few from the Kuki communities. In 1890, Mr. Atkinson, the then chairman of the Board of Trustees of the Indian Museum, traveled extensively in the Naga Hills and collected a large variety of textiles along with other objects from the different groups of the Naga community. In the year 1902, when the Lord Curzon became the Viceroy of Government of India, and he traveled the upper Burma and northeastern part of India. He has collected a large number of ethnographic objects along with textiles and dresses of various ethnic groups living in northeast India and mainly from Burma. The collections of Lord Curzon include the exquisite examples of textiles of the Naga people. During 1927 to 1929, Mr. J. H. Hutton, the then Deputy Commissioner of Assam, collected a variety of textiles and dresses along with other ethnographic objects from different groups of Naga community and presented the same to the Indian Museum. So here I am coming the Angami Naga cloth presented by Chief Commissioner of Assam in 1876. This is also a cotton cloth from 1876. This is also a cotton cloth from Naga Hills, presented by the Chief Commissioner of Assam in 1876. This is a Zeliang skirt, Zeliang Naga skirt. This is also presented by Deputy Commissioner of Assam in 1876. This is a sash presented by Mr. Atkinson, who was the chairman of the Board of Trustees of Indian Museum and collected during 1890s. This was presented by Lord Curzon. This is an Angami Naga cloth from Naga Hills. This is also a West girdle, and this is of Angami Naga community and presented by Lord Curzon in 1902. This is very important textiles used by the Kuki priest and from Hill Tipera, presented by Deputy Conservator of Forest in 1907. And this is another Ringma Naga cloth from Naga Hills and presented by J.H. Hutton in 1927. So there is a large number of textile collection that was presented by different people. They are mostly the uh, administrative people from colonial period, in the colonial period. And now Indian Museum, they have started another collection, that is the Reporter of Economic Product. It is very important in this context because is that this survey was done throughout India to collect the economic product. And when they are conducting this exploration, then a large number of textiles and also the textile samples also collected from Northeast India. And not only the textile, they also collected the job steer, quiet seeds, which were also used for the ornamentation of the cloth from that Northeast region. So I am coming here. A large number of samples of cloth were collected during REP tour, that is the Reporters of Economic Product, in 1897 to 98 from Dibrugarh, Sylhet, Borpeta, Mangalore, North Lakhimpur, Kachar, Guwahati of Assam, as well as from Bhamu, Lower Chindwin, North Trans states of Bali. During this tour, what I have told that quite a good number of sample pieces of pieces were collected, which contained varieties of designs woven on each of the piece, and these designs were used on the textiles of Assam. So here, that is the Reporter of Economic Product tour, that is the Naga women's dancing cloth from Kachar, Assam. This is also dancing cloth from North Kachar, Assam. This is from Pontui Chador from Naga community. It is also very important because this is the decoration has been done by orchid scheme. Another important collection is the Abur collection in Indian Museum. That is the textile collections from Aburs. The punitive expedition was made in the Abur. It was lasted from October 1911 to April 1912. The expedition was commanded by Major General Sir H. Bower and S. Sorry, just a minute. Was one of the W.A. Kemp. Sorry, W.A. Kemp. Okay, Major General Sir Bower and Kemp was one of the accompanied person. So it is very important in that it is also the expedition was also a punitive expedition. So a large number of objects were collected by Kemp during Abur expedition in 1912. The collections were made from Komsing, Debuganda, Kelung, Dosing, Yexi region, now within Arunachal Pradesh. The collections include textiles, cane helmets, haversacks, dao, knife, shield, cloth, brass bangles, wire, waist ornaments, etc. So here is the one of the cloth from Abur, Komsing. And this is another textile collection from Manipur that was done by Anandal along with the other ethnographic objects in 1920. So here I am coming the almost a range of textile collections from Northeast region. Now I am coming to the single object, many stories, my second part. Just a minute, hold on. এইটাকে একটু সরানো যেতে পারে এইটাকে just a minute, okay? লেখাটা কি করছে Thank you. So I am coming to the main part, that is the single object mainstreams. So we have seen a large number of textile collections in the collection of Indian Museum. Now I'm taking one single object. So a single object tries to tell a history of the world in a way by deciphering the messages. An object communicates across time messages about peoples and places, environments and interactions about different moments in history. An object speaks of whole societies and complex processes rather than individual events. It tells the story for which it was made, as well as of later periods which reshaped or relocated it. Sometimes having meanings far beyond the intention of the original maker. It is a very good work by Neil MacGregor, the former director of British Museum. So now I am coming to it. Sorry. এটা আটকে যাচ্ছে দেখতে, এটা কি আমার এটা কি আসছে না কেন? আমারটা তো আবার সরি। Oh, acha. So this is a Naga cloth that was collected from Naga Hills during 1850. The warrior's cloth of Naga and its collection history. The specimen bearing accession number 1571 is a cloth of Naga ethnic group obtained from the Naga Hills from Biden, Assam. This is a cloth of a successful warrior having high social cultural status in society. It is also dated to circa 1850. One does not know who was the collector. There is no record of that. To begin with, it was, like all other artifacts of that period, was in the Oriental Museum of Asiatic Society. After the Indian Museum Act of 1876, like all other ethnological specimens from the Asiatic Society, it was transferred to the Indian Museum building in 1875 when the building was constructed. The Warrior's Cloth of Naga, History of Ethnology section. The Warrior's Cloth of Naga was part of ethnological collection. Hence, along with other ethnological specimens, it came under the administrative control of other sections at different points of time. To begin with, the ethnology was clubbed with archaeology section, since there was no separate section on ethnology when the museum was located in the Asiatic Society. After the Indian Museum Act in 1866 was passed and the new building came up during 1875 and the Calcutta International Exhibition was organized in 1883 to 84. Ethnology became a part of industrial section, that is the botany, under botany section in 1885. Again in 1911, ethnology section was transferred when the Zoological Survey of India was formed to zoological section. And then in 1945, a separate section came up which ultimately became Anthropological Survey of India under guidance of Dr. B.S. Guho. And formerly B.S. Guho worked as anthropologist in Zoological Survey of India when superintending anthropologist there as a superintendent in Zoological Survey of India. Then all this collection went to Anthropological Survey of India. But again, when Professor Nirmal Kumar Bose became the director in probably 1962, Then in 1963, the section was again transferred to Indian Museum and Anthropology section. So this is the cloth, how it has been transferred from its origin to this such and such and such and point, and then to now it is in Anthropology section of Indian Museum. So about the cloth, it is made of cotton dyed with vegetable color and provided with a white needle painted band. The adornment shows abstract representation of decapitated men, warriors, and events that happened before, during, or after head-taking raid. It measures 171 centimeter in length and 121 centimeter in width. The Naga textiles are produced and woven in great variety by the different peoples living in Nagaland, Manipur, Myanmar. This textile explores the messages relating to history, production, meaning, collection, and continuing impact of textiles of the Nagas. About the Nagas, the Naga communities mainly inhabit Nagaland. They form a single cultural region, generally definable by common cultural and linguistic traditions. The state of Nagaland, covering an area of 16,480 square kilometers, is encircled by Assam to the north, Myanmar in the east, and Manipur in the south. The Naga community also reside in parts of Assam, Manipur, and Myanmar. Linguistically, the Nagas belong to the Tibeto-Burman language. Total population of Nagaland as per 2011 census is 1978502, of which male and female are 1024649 and 953853 respectively. The literacy rate in Nagaland has seen upward trend and is 79.55% of that. Male literacy stands at 82.75%, while female literacy is at 76.11%. Now, this is the messages is the identity. Identity is the term used for political, ethnic, national, cultural, socio-economic, territorial, and gender frameworks. Ethnic identity is the aspect of identity that is socially constructed categories through which people think in terms of us and them. From colonial times onwards, a large number of anthropological and other works on Northeast and beyond are preoccupied with defining ethnic categories and tracing ethno-history of a region which is characterized by ethnic plurality. In working with museum collections, we particularly want in a way to identify an object with its ethnic source of origin. Textiles and dresses are probably dominantly identifiable cultural aspects, which show the resemblances as well as the differences among the ethnic groups that produced and used by them. Traditional dress of an ethnic group plays a major role in showcasing the ethnic identity. The Nagas are headhunters. This statement is often heard about the Nagas, which reflect the outsider's view on the historical accounts of the observation of the colonial rulers. The practice of headhunting attracted the colonial administrators to understand the ethnic group in detail in order to govern them. So that cloth has given the identity of a headhunter's cloth. Now I'm coming to the socio-religious context of headhunting. The headhunting ritual of the Nagas was significant to illustrate the religious, social, cultural conditions of the group. The real basis of headhunting among all the Naga tribes is the belief that the head is the seat par excellence of the life essence, which informs human beings as well as, in a lesser degree, no doubt, many other animals. The life essence is brought back to the village in the head, which is placed upon the sacred stone Kipuchi of the village, from which apparently the life essence diffuses itself to the villagers, their crops, and their stock. This explains the necessity for taking heads to replenish the life of the village when the population has been weakened by disease or scarcity. It explains also the great importance which attaches to head taking as a young man's preliminary of marriage. It is written by Hutton, 1921. Hence, the cloth explains a socio-religious history of a ethnic group. Now I am coming to the production of the cloth. The Nagas are known for their exquisite clothes, which are produced in backstrap loom or called Indonesian loom. It connects the ethnic group to the traditional textile culture of Southeast Asia. So, this textile tells the socio-religious context of a headhunting, and again it connects to the history of the world, that is the traditional textile culture of Southeast Asia. Weaving, spinning, and dyeing are exclusively women work, while men may prepare the weaving instruments. Traditionally, homegrown cotton was used. Dyeing used to be done by using only vegetable dye. It requires the indigenous knowledge of extraction of color from vegetables. The backstrap looms are generally 25 to 50 centimeter width, and therefore 2-3 strips of cloths are stitched to get the required length. The middle white band is painted with abstract designs in black color by the Aonaga men. So this is a photograph of backstrap loom. The Naga Hills district was part of Assam. The Nagas and the Christianity. I am coming to the another point. Under the rule of Ahams, till the formation of the state Nagaland in 1963. In 1826, East India Company taken over Assam. In 1840s, the British developed an interest in the cultivation of tea in Assam. Their first unsuccessful contact with Naga villages was an attempt to involve them in tea cultivation. From 1840s onwards, the British contact with the Naga was confined to several punitive expeditions into Naga Hills against the Naga headhunting raids on the tea plantations and villages within the British administrative boundary in Assam. Most 1982. The American Baptist missionaries entered Naga Hills in 19th century. The first mission was opened in 1872 in the territory which was outside the British administrative boundaries. The British annexed that territory in 1889. The missionaries opened more centers in the neighboring areas. In the beginning, education equated with Christianity. Primary and secondary schools were opened by the missionaries with the help of British officers. The interest of the British to put an end of the headhunting raids of the Nagas of Naga Hills and the introduction of education by the missionaries led to the end of Naga age-old custom of headhunting. Now I am coming to the conclusion. Hence, this cloth tells about one aspect of culture of Northeast India and Southeast Asia, that is the textile culture, which is prevalent throughout the region. It tells the involvement of women in the production of textile. It also tells the culture of Naga ethnic group in general and the headhunting custom in specific. Thus, it is related to the construction of a typical colonial stereotype for the Nagas as headhunters. It tells the history of the colonial rule in Naga Hills. It tells the advent of Christian missionary in Naga Hills and the gradual change of religious history of the Nagas. It tells the story of how did the colonial rule and Christianity together change the age-old custom of headhunting of the Nagas. Besides, the specimen has implication for collection history of textiles in Indian Museum. The movement of ethnological specimens from the Asiatic Society of Bengal to the Indian Museum building, as well as the shifting of administrative control of ethnology unit from archaeology section to industrial to zoology to anthropology section. All these have important bearing on the biography of the specimen. So that textile that was produced for or used by a headhunter, that was collected by the colonial people, and the object moved from space to space and also from then it again lost its meaning when it was worn as an headhunter's cloth, and when it is present in the Indian Museum collection, so it has lost its meaning. Not the loss, the change of meaning. Thus, this lecture is a modest endeavor to explain how a single object is associated with many stories embedded in multiple layers and context. And thank you. And really, I acknowledge Professor Basa for going through this paper. And I also thank Mr. Parikshit Chakraborty who giving the technical support for preparing this paper. And also the organizer of Aspire who has organized the lecture for the visitors.